Welcome back, dear students. Today we will learn about another part of speech, that is pronoun. Before I go into the details, let's have a look at these two examples. Please read it aloud with me. Uzair is my student. Uzair is my next door neighbor as well. Uzair has 4 siblings. Uzair is the youngest of all. The next example. Uzair is my student. He is my next door neighbor as well. He has 4 siblings and he is the youngest of all. What difference do you find in both sentences? Have a closer look at it. You can see that I have replaced the noun Uzair with he as a pronoun in the second example. So instead of using the noun Uzair again and again and irritating you or repeating the noun, I have replaced it with a pronoun that is he. So simply speaking, pronouns are the words that replace the nouns or they are used instead of nouns. Apparently, pronouns are very simple, and I believe that you already know about the pronouns. However, there is a lot more that you need to know. However, because of the time constraints, I will not be able to go into the detailed lecture of pronouns. However, there is a comprehensive overview of the pronouns. As I said earlier, a pronoun is a word that takes the place of one or more nouns in a sentence. I have highlighted a few things and I have used another term, antecedent, that I want you to know about it. So antecedent is a noun that is replaced by a pronoun. Let me explain you with this example. Uzair is my student, Uzair is my next door neighbor as well, and so on. And in the second sentence, second example, Uzair is my student, he is my next door neighbor as well, he has 4 siblings, etc. So just have a look at the highlighted colors that I have used here. I have given a blue color to all the antecedents in the sentences. They are the nouns, and I have used the red color for using the pronouns. So you can see in all these examples that I have written antecedent and Uzair in blue color so that you can understand it easily that antecedent is a noun in a sentence that is being replaced by a pronoun in the coming sentences or in the coming clauses. So a noun that is being replaced by a pronoun is known as an antecedent. I believe this is clear to you now. There are 7 types of pronouns: personal pronouns, reflexive pronouns or emphatic pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, interrogative pronouns, relative, reciprocal and indefinite pronouns. Let's have a closer look at the personal pronouns. Here is an example of personal pronouns. We use these personal pronouns in our daily conversation. These personal pronouns are we, us, he, she, I. So it can also be used as a personal pronoun. So let's go into the details of personal pronouns and let's see in a sentence at which and how many places you can use the personal pronouns. So here are the personal pronouns. You can see that the personal pronouns can be used as a subject pronoun and they can be used as an object pronoun. They are used as singulars and they can be used as plural as well. Singular subject pronoun is I, you, he, she, it, and plurals are we, you, and they. However, when they are used as object pronouns, they are used as me, you, him, her, it as singulars, and us, you, and them as plurals. So what do I mean when I say that they can be used as subject or object pronouns? Let me explain it with an example. If I say I like him, so in this particular sentence, I is used as a subject pronoun, like is a verb, and him is an object pronoun. So when this is used as an object, this is him, and when a pronoun is used as a subject pronoun, this is I. So these are the uses how personal pronouns can be used at different places in a sentence. You can see on my left side of the screen that they are the first, second and third persons. First person I, second person you, and third person is he, she or it. They are used as nominative pronouns, they can be used as possessive pronouns, and they can be used as accusative or object pronouns. So nominative pronouns, we call the personal pronouns as nominative pronouns when they are used as a noun or when they are used as, they are not used as a noun, they are used as an object pronoun. For example, the example I gave you, I like her, so I is a nominative pronoun. In second person, where are you going? So you is a nominative pronoun in this particular sentence. So the third person, she is my friend. So she in this particular example is my friend. She is a personal pronoun. So this is again nominative personal pronoun. Second example in which pronouns are used as possessive pronouns. This is my book. So my is used here as a possessive pronoun. Or this book is mine. So again, this can be used as a personal pronoun. Although there are a few places in which we can say that these personal pronouns actually act as an adjective. However, at this particular stage, we are not going into the detail of adjective pronouns. So with you, we can say that these are your books. So again, this is for your possessive personal pronoun. This is her phone. Third person singular, this is her phone. Again, this is used as possessive personal pronoun. So as an accusative personal pronouns or object personal pronouns, I may say, give this book to me. So me is accusative or object personal pronoun. Where were you? Again, object or accusative personal pronoun. I couldn't find her. I is used as a nominative personal pronoun and her is used as an accusative or object personal pronouns. Remember one thing, I have mentioned it on the left side of the screen, that pronouns must take the same number and gender as the noun is. Sometimes in our context especially, we do make the mistakes of using a sentence with somebody's name as singular, but out of respect sometimes we start giving him or her a plural personal pronoun. For example, the name of my teacher is Amna. So instead of saying she, as we translate it from Urdu to English, we out of respect start saying they, because we have a plural pronoun in Urdu for talking about any person out of respect. So remember that if you are not using the pronoun in the same number and gender as the noun is, it would be considered a mistake and definitely your marks would be deducted for that. So I have talked about the collective nouns when we were discussing the nouns, and I believe you all know about it. But as a part of pronouns topic, it is very important to note that personal pronouns, whenever you are using a personal pronoun for a collective noun, it must always remain singular. However, we have noticed while we were discussing the collective nouns that the collective nouns can be used as plurals as well. But I am taking the collective nouns in general, and they are to be used as singulars. For example, the jury has given its decision. So jury is a collective noun. I have highlighted has as a verb, as a helping verb in red. This is singular helping verb, and again its is used as a personal pronoun, and it is again used as a singular. The fleet will reach its destination in a week. Again, fleet is a collective noun and it is used as a singular in this sentence. That is the reason its is used as singular. However, if the collective noun conveys the idea of separate individuals comprising the whole, the pronoun standing for it must be the plural number. This is something that I talked about in detail while we were discussing collective nouns. Here are two examples. The jury were divided in their opinion. So when jury was united, it was taken as singular. However, when they are divided, it is taken as plural. That is the reason we are using plural helping verbs and plural pronouns. Jury were divided, so were is plural helping verb and there is plural pronoun. The committee decided the matter without leaving their seats. Now we are talking about the individuals. That is the reason we are using their as personal pronoun, which is a plural one. I hope it makes sense to you. So here are a few more examples for the uses of personal pronouns. As a provisional and temporary subject before the verb to be used when the real subject follows it. For example, it is easy to find fault. It means to find faults is easy. So it is representing the noun, that is fault. We also use personal pronouns to give emphasis on something or to emphasize something. For example, I may say, it was I who first protested. So I is used to emphasize on something. Again, personal pronoun it can be used as an indefinite nominative or of an impersonal verb. For example, we often say it is raining. It is raining. So somebody may ask you what is raining, because raining is a verb. So I want to say that the rain is raining. So rain is being replaced by it as an indefinite nominative. So here is the example of emphatic and reflexive pronouns. These are the pronouns that I personally like the most because students confuse about its usage. So what are these emphatic and reflexive pronouns? When self is added to my, your, him, her, it, or selves to our, it means you are using reflexive pronouns. For example, myself, yourself, himself, herself. themselves, yourselves. So these are reflective or emphatic pronouns. Their use in a sentence makes them reflexive or emphatics. Reflexive pronouns are used when the action is done by the subject and it turns back or reflects upon the subject. Have a look at my colored SVO, that is subject, verb and object. I have written the subject with green color, verb with blue color and object with red color. Note once again that when the action is being done on the subject, subject is the doer of the action and action is being done on himself, the pronoun that we are using would be known as reflexive pronoun. For example, I hurt myself. So I is the subject, hurt is the verb and object is again myself. So nobody hurt me but I hurt myself. We hurt ourselves. So we are doing the action on ourselves. So whenever such selves are used in a sentence, they are reflexive pronouns. So something is coming back to the subject. However, emphatic pronouns, although the word would remain the same, myself, ourselves, himself, herself, however, its position in the sentence and its the part at which it is being written makes it an emphatic pronoun. The example is, emphatic pronouns are used for the sake of emphasis only. Example, I will do it myself. So I is the subject in the sentence, do is the verb, it is an object. However, myself is used as an emphatic pronoun. We do often say you have asked someone to do you a favor and do something for you and he doesn't do it. In out of anger you would say, just leave it, I'll do it myself. So myself is used as an emphatic pronoun here. You hear something from someone and you are telling it to another person and he asks you, who told you about it? And you may say, he himself said so. It means nobody else told me, rather he himself said me all this. So he is the subject, said is a verb, object is whatever somebody has told you, and himself in this particular sentence is used as an emphatic pronoun. Demonstrative pronouns. So the pronouns which are used to point out the object to which they are referring and are therefore called demonstrative pronouns. In easier words, I can say that demonstrative pronouns are used to point out something, to refer about something. These are the boys I was talking about. Those are my books. These are my friends. So these are all used as demonstrative pronouns. These are just lame excuses. Both cars are good, but this is better than that. So these are here used as demonstrative pronouns. This, that are demonstrative adjectives when they are used with nouns. For example, this book is mine. So as I have said earlier, that the position of different words in the sentences make them a different part of speech sometimes. So here, this book is mine, when it is coming before a subject or before a noun, it becomes a demonstrative adjective. These books are mine. I hope this is clear to you. So what are interrogative pronouns? These are the simplest of all. Interrogative pronouns introduce a question. Who is your friend? Which of these two is mine? Whom did you see yesterday? Who wrote Twilight? And so on. So the words who, whom, which, all these are interrogative pronouns. They are always used, or most of the times they are used definitely in the beginning of a sentence. Here is another very interesting pronoun, that is a relative pronoun, which is used to join two clauses. One, independent clause that can exist at its own, it can exist in isolation, and dependent clause. Dependent means it needs to depend on the other clause or a phrase or a sentence to give its complete meaning, or a phrase and a clause. So they are used to join two clauses or a phrase and a clause. For example, this is the house that Hamza built. So that Hamza built is a relative clause. So what is a relative pronoun here? Relative pronoun is that. So you can see that relative pronoun modifies a noun or a noun phrase, and relative clauses give essential information to define or identify the person or the thing we are talking about. So in this particular sentence, we are talking about the house. So as a general rule, who is used for persons only, and I believe you already know about it, that who is used for the people, for the living beings. For example, the man who is honest is trusted. So the man is the subject in the sentence, and who is used as a relative pronoun, and it is introducing a phrase that is honest is trusted. Then whose is used as in a possessive form, and it is used in speaking of persons, animals, and also about things which are without life. The son Whose rays give life to the earth is regarded by some people as God. So whose is used as a possessive in a possessive form, but it is again used as a relative pronoun. So which is another example of a relative pronoun, and which is used for things without life and for animals. It may refer to a single or plural noun. The moment which is lost forever. So which is again used as a relative pronoun, and it is introducing your subject or your noun, that is moment. So relative pronouns are who, whom, that, which, whose, etc. Here is another very interesting pronoun, that is reciprocal pronoun. Sometimes people do feel confused in using the reciprocal pronouns, that in which singular form you have to use which reciprocal form, which reciprocal pronoun, and the students do lose their marks because of this particular misunderstanding. So let's have a look what are the reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal pronouns reciprocal pronoun is used to express a mutual action or relationship. There are basically two types of reciprocal pronouns, each other and one another. Each other is used as a reciprocal pronoun when you are talking about two individuals, the mutual relationship between two individuals, whereas one another is used when you are trying to show the relationship between more than two individuals. Have a look at the example, my dog and cat love each other. Each other is a reciprocal pronoun. It means you are talking about the mutual relationship or mutual love of two individuals. On the other hand, they all support each other. So they all support one another. One another is used as a reciprocal pronoun here, and it is used between three people. So reciprocal pronouns, one another and each other. Each other is used when you are talking about two individuals, and one another when you are talking about more than two individuals. The last one, indefinite pronouns. An indefinite pronoun is a pronoun that refers to non-specific beings, objects, or places. For example, when you are not aware of the things, person, or people, or places, or objects you are talking about. The examples of indefinite pronouns are anyone, anybody, nobody, few, many, neither, none, all, any, both, etc. So these are all indefinite pronouns as they do not refer to a specific definite person. Indefinite pronouns can be divided into three categories based on whether they take a singular or plural verb. The examples of anyone, everyone, someone, anybody, somebody, nobody, each, one, either and neither, they are always used as singular pronouns. For example, you can say anyone can see me at any time. Anyone is used as a singular. Someone came to my office yesterday. Everybody has to complete the assignment. Nobody was present in the class. Each of you has to complete the assignment. So you can notice that I am using singular helping verbs while I am talking about each, somebody, anybody, etc. However, have a look at the plural indefinite pronouns. Both, few, many, others, several, they are always used as plurals. Few of my students are absent today. So few refers to plural. I can say, I can also say both of you are my friends because both means two. Others were sleeping while someone was talking. So others is used as a plural. There are a few more examples of indefinite pronouns. They can be used and they can be used as singular as well as plurals. It depends on their usage in a sentence. For example, all, any, more, most, some, etc. You can say all of my friends are absent. So all is here used as a plural. So words like something, anywhere, somewhere, anybody, and no one are indefinite pronouns, and we may use them for people, things, and places. Here are a few examples. You can simply have a look at them, that when you are using these indefinite pronouns for people, it would be somebody, anybody, nobody, and everybody. For things, this is something, anything, nothing, everything. For places, this is somewhere, anywhere, nowhere, and everywhere, etc. Consider the following sentences. One must not boast of one's success. None of his poems are well known. So none is the shortened form of no one, hence it can be used as singular and sometimes it can be used as plural. So all, any, most, none, and some can be used as plurals, again depending on their usage in a sentence and the phrases that are following them. Okay, very interesting slide. Here are some common errors that are being made by the students because of disagreement between the subject and the verb. Sometimes you start a sentence with a singular with a singular noun. However, you use a plural pronoun in the end of it and it becomes a mistake. So everybody or everyone discusses the plot. So everyone is a singular. Both talk about King Lear. So this is plural. All of mythology is about beliefs and ideals. All here is used as singular. However, all can be used as plural as well when I say all of the myths are about beliefs and ideals. So the meaning changes, the meaning of the sentence, the meaning of the words change, the plurality and singularity of your pronouns. So let's have a quick recap on a few things only because I'm not going into the details. In today's lecture, we talked about the pronouns. So pronouns are the words which are used in place of nouns. There are 7 different types of pronouns. Indefinite pronouns, interrogative pronouns, relative pronouns, my favorite reflexive and emphatic pronouns, and so on. You might have came across the term antecedent for the very first time when we were discussing it in today's lecture, that antecedent is a noun that is replaced by a pronoun. So Sarah is my friend, she is my class fellow as well. So what is Sarah in the sentence? Yes, it is an antecedent and she is a pronoun. Second very important thing that you have to remember, the agreement of pronoun and antecedent in number and gender. If your noun is singular, its pronoun should always remain a singular. If your noun is a female, your pronoun should be a female of a female gender. And types of pronouns and few rules that we have discussed in the class, I hope you will try to remember them while you were appearing in your exam. So if there is any question in your mind, please post them in the comment box. Have a good day. Bye bye.